Ms. McBath.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just have to say I've been extremely troubled by the events that occurred in our country, and more so by what we've been hearing today. And I'm heartened that our nation has, decided that they want to come together. But to come together, we need trust, and we need trust in our justice system. Some of my colleagues have suggested that you, our witnesses today, have come forward to testify for political reasons. And I do not believe that to be the truth. I believe that you are brave, independent public servants who have stepped forward to simply tell the truth. So I'd like to give each of you an opportunity very briefly just to tell us why you're testifying today. Mr. Elias, how long have you been a public servant, and what other roles have you held?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I have been a public servant since 2006, and I've held a variety of roles at the DOJ, including 2 stints as a trial attorney, a special assistant in the Office of Operations. I was in the Associate's Office with a few different roles there as well.
Thank you. So why did you feel, after all of your years of public service, that it was so important for you to come and testify before us today?
I looked at what was happening, which was unlike anything I had ever seen before, and didn't feel like a good faith calling of balls and strikes that I had been used to seeing. And I care very much about the antitrust laws, their even-handed enforcement, protecting consumers, and also the institution of the Antitrust Division, where I have spent my entire legal career. And when I saw these abuses, I thought that the public should get to know about them. So that's why I stepped forward.
Thank you, thank you so much. Mr. Zelensky, I'd like to ask the same questions to you. You've spent most of your career in the Department of Justice. Why did you feel so strongly about complying with our subpoena and coming before us today as well?
Because I took an oath to do so.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Iyer, most of us are familiar with your very extensive career in public service, and we're grateful to you for your service. But can you briefly explain why you felt the need to come forward today?
Yeah, so in the 10 or 11 years that I was in the department in 4 different positions, I was really inspired by the experience I had in a place where people really went to work to do the right thing. And processes had been put in place, a system was working, people had a great deal of respect for each other and for the process. And it worked very well. And in the time I was there, I kind of moved up through various positions and ended as Deputy Attorney General. And it became clear fairly quickly, really, why it worked so well. And it was because of everybody being dedicated and these procedures being in place. I've known Bill Barr actually for about 40 years. I've never known him well, but I've always known that he was a person who had this idea that he really thought the president ought to be virtually an autocrat. I don't know where he got it, but that's his view. I was fearful when he got nominated this time, given that President Trump would like to be an autocrat too. And when he began doing the things he started doing, I became extremely concerned. So I've done what I could in terms of writing articles, and I'll continue to.
Thank you so much for that. What concerns me about the testimony that we've heard today is that career public servants are telling us what they're telling us. They're supporting facts and evidence and corroborating testimony that the Attorney General is pursuing cases based on political vendettas and not to protect Americans. I hope that the Attorney General would be here today. I hope to be able to ask the Attorney General about his actions attempting to reverse the ACA. I had hoped to ask him about what he plans to do to prevent gun violence from increasing during this crisis. I had hoped to ask him about the plans to ensure that all Americans have access to affordable health care, but he did not show up. So we need now more than ever, we need to come together, but we also need answers. And it's in times like these that when we're in crisis like this, these are the kinds of times that define us. These are the moments that define us. So, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit a letter for the record from 33 33 former antitrust division employees who write that Mr. Elias is, and I quote, a person of integrity and a person who speaks the truth and fights to do what is right, end quote. They also state that Mr. Elias is, and I quote again, respected throughout the Department of Justice for his candor and his commitment to justice, end quote.
Without objection, the gentlelady yields back.
Great senators. Hi, Chuck. He used to love me when I was a Democrat, you know.